Here at Get Up Off Your Arts.
BBC Newcastle, radio for the North East.
Hiya, I'm Nick. Opera. Discuss. A load of la-di-da folk waffling around singing in Italian in big posh opera houses. If so, surely it begs the question, how do you get more young people into opera? How do you get anyone interested in opera? Well, Rosie Catt from Jesmond in Newcastle has set up a company to do just that. She's a second-year drama and English student at Birmingham University, and she wants to take opera into schools across the North East. Rosie's group is called Sequillo Opera, and BBC Newcastle's resident opera superfan Michael Hamilton has been along to their launch event in Jesmond, as you can hear right here.
I've always been really interested in opera and singing opera. Being at university, I've met a lot of singers, student singers, who find it really difficult to get performance opportunities because of their age, because of inexperience, and I thought it'd be really useful to kind of band together and create a company where we look more legitimate and we can go and do performances. And also I'm really interested in musical education for school children, and especially with GCSEs in music and drama being cut, I think it's really important to bring music education into schools.
If anyone said opera, the storylines are just far too complicated and it's all in foreign, why should I like it? What would you say?
The storylines aren't as complicated as people think. It's all things that still happen today, even though they're really old operas, like betrayal, people having affairs, people arguing with their parents. In the same way as Shakespeare's still performed and people can kind of understand it, I think opera is the same. And if you perform it in a certain way, it should be understandable. And there's always surtitles or subtitles when you go and see it where it's translated into English, or English National Opera do loads of really good English translations of foreign operas.
If someone said to you, Rosie, it's only for posh people, what would you say?
There are a lot of rich people who go and see performances because ticket prices are really high, because there are so many really skilled people involved who've had a lot of training. But you can get some really cheap tickets if you're on the ball. At huge opera houses like Royal Opera House have a lot of student schemes where you can get cheaper tickets, and then restricted view seats you can get better tickets. But also there's a lot of regional opera companies and local opera companies that are doing events all the time if you just really research it online and you find them. So there's always an opportunity to go and see stuff, and it's not just rich people, it can be lots of different kinds of people.
Is there anything that you'd say to a venue like the Sage, for example, who put opera on, if they said to you, you know, Rosie, how do we get more people and more people from different backgrounds, from different, you know, more working class people, for example, to come along?
Ticket prices are an important thing to make it so that people can come along. Workshops 100% all the time are great. Get the community in to be like, try and sing some opera, or here's a scene from the opera, do you want to have a go? Or like open rehearsals where you can go and see what's going on for free, I think are really important, so people can have a little taster and then come and see the full thing if they want to.
Thank you. We'll hear more from Rosie later on tonight's show. What about that bit of opera for you on Get Up Off Your Arts at BBC Newcastle Radio for the North East. BBC Newcastle Radio for the North East. This is Get Up Off Your Arts.
BBC Newcastle, radio for the North East.
And I'm Nick. Hello. So nothing but eclectic here at Get Up Off Your Arts on BBC Newcastle Radio for the North East. And today we're looking at opera. Rosie Catt is a Jesmondite and a second-year student in Birmingham, and she wants to bring opera to a bigger audience. BBC Newcastle sports presenter and opera boffin Michael Hamilton caught up with Rosie as she launched a new company designed to make opera more accessible.
Do you think it's easier to get into operas and musicals when you're in the southeast of England than in the northeast?
I absolutely do, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to start Squealo, because the Northeast has so much to offer, but when you have Opera North based in Leeds, Royal Northern Conservatoire is based in Manchester, and then you have other things in Scotland, there's this kind of regional gap where no opera is really happening, or there's less of it. And it's really important that little groups like Squealo and other local companies create lots of work so that there's not this drought in the top of the country.
Where has the passion come from in you and the other members of Squealo, your opera company, to do this?
I think it's really good that we're all friends already, having met doing singing projects or at school a while ago. And, you know, we're all performers who like to work together. Performers love to collaborate with each other, and everyone has this drive to... It's like, I've discovered this beautiful thing, which is opera, and I'd like to share it with other people. So there's that drive to share it with audiences.
If I was to say to you in 3 years' time, 5 years' time, where and what do you want Squealo Opera to be, and what do you want to have achieved? What are the sorts of goals that you've got in mind?
In 3 years' time, it would be incredible if we had regular performances in different places, maybe unusual performance spaces that anyone can come and see, and also lots of workshops and things with schools and communities. I think would be really, really good for us. I went to a CBSO schools performance in Birmingham, and they invite schools into the concert hall, and they have the whole orchestra there, and they say, this is the flute plays this kind of music, and it kind of introduces it really easily to children. Yeah. And I'd like to do a similar kind of thing with singers, to take them into schools and be like, this is a soprano sings this kind of role and this kind of music, and they sing really high, and then have a workshop with the students with something like Pirates of Penzance or Hansel and Gretel or something like that, and have the kids create a little scene themselves, initially learning to sing really, really well, and then also turning it into a scene with the dramatic side.
That's 19-year-old Rosie Catt from Jesmond there in Newcastle, who set up her own company to take opera into schools. And you can find out more by searching online or on social media for Squealo Opera Company. Or was it Squealo, did she say? Squillo. I think she said Squealo Opera Company. Thank you, Rosie, and thank you, Michael. This is Get Up Off Your Arts. These are Boy Meets Girl. You're at BBC Newcastle, radio for the North East.